There are moments when silence says more than any words can. Like the way his eyes searched mine in the quiet flicker of the screen, or the way my heart responded with a rhythm I hadn't felt in years. Before we go deeper into the story, please like the video and subscribe the channel as it helps me a lot. I never thought I'd feel that stirring again. Not like this. Not with him. But life doesn't ask for permission when it shifts the ground beneath your feet. It simply moves, and you're left trying to make sense of what you've always known, suddenly turned upside down by a single look. It was a rainy Friday evening when the idea of a movie night came up. He was home from college for the long weekend, and the house felt warmer just having him back. The way he carried himself now, more sure, more grounded, it was hard to ignore. I had helped raise him, seen him through scraped knees and awkward teenage years. But now he was different. Taller, thoughtful, quiet but not distant. There was something in the way he held space now that made me take notice in a way I never allowed myself to before. "Want to watch something together?" he asked, voice casual, as he popped open a soda. I nodded, curling my legs under me on the couch. "Only if you let me pick." He grinned, that familiar boyish grin that used to mean scraped palms and chocolate chip cookies. But now it landed differently. We settled on something easy, an old romantic drama, the kind with sweeping music and long, meaningful glances. As the opening credits rolled, he sat beside me, a respectful distance away, but close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from his side. For a while we watched in silence, each caught in the rhythm of the story. But I couldn't help noticing the way his hand rested near mine on the couch, or how he occasionally glanced at me, eyes lingering a beat too long before returning to the screen. The living room was dim, lit only by the soft blue light of the television. The rain tapped steadily against the windows, a gentle rhythm that made everything feel slower, softer. I shifted slightly, reaching for the blanket draped over the armrest, and as I did, our fingers brushed. Spark. Barely a second long. But it lingered. He looked at me then, really looked. Not like a child looks at someone who raised them, but like a man seeing a woman fully, maybe for the first time. There was confusion in his gaze, yes, but also a depth that made my chest tighten. "I used to hate this movie," he said, breaking the quiet. I turned to him, trying to shake the feeling that had settled over us. "Why?" I think I didn't understand it back then. All the unspoken feelings. The things they couldn't say. He paused. "Now I do." The words hung in the air like mist, wrapping around us. "I think I understand it too well," I whispered. He looked away, smiling faintly. "You always saw more than you let on." There was a vulnerability in his voice, like he was confessing something without saying it directly. I didn't respond, afraid of what might come out if I did. Another quiet stretch passed, the movie continuing as though nothing had shifted. But everything had. At one point, a particularly emotional scene played. A moment of two characters sharing a long, quiet embrace after holding back for too long. I felt his body tense slightly beside me, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw him glance at me again. "I used to wonder if that kind of love was real," he said softly. "The kind where you don't have to say anything, but it's just there." My throat tightened. "It is." He turned to face me more fully. "Have you ever felt it?" I met his gaze, every nerve in my body awake. I thought I had. But maybe I didn't know what it really was until lately. A beat passed between us. His expression shifted, still gentle but more certain. He reached for the blanket and unfolded it, laying it gently across both our laps. It was such a simple gesture, but something about it felt intimate in a way that words never could be. He didn't touch me, not deliberately, but his knee brushed mine under the blanket, and neither of us moved away. "I've been thinking a lot lately," he said after a while, his voice lower now, "about what it means to care for someone, in a way that doesn't always make sense." I inhaled slowly, unsure whether my heart was racing from fear or anticipation. Things don't always have to make sense. He looked at me with a kind of earnestness that both scared and comforted me. "No, I guess they don't." We kept watching, though neither of us was really focused on the movie anymore. The distance between us felt smaller, like gravity had slowly pulled us closer without us realizing. His hand was still on the couch between us, fingers resting near mine. I could feel the tension in that space, the energy waiting to cross a line neither of us had fully acknowledged. "I never expected coming home would feel like this," he said, almost to himself. I turned toward him, heart thudding. "Like what?" He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Like I'd see things differently. See you differently." The room felt impossibly quiet then. The only sounds were the hum of the rain and the soft dialogue on the TV. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I was allowed to feel, or whether the rush in my chest was something I should lean into or pull away from. But I knew this. I felt seen. Really, truly seen. And it had been a long time since anyone had looked at me like that. "I've missed you," I said softly, the words slipping out before I could question them. He turned to me, eyes warm. "I missed you too. More than I expected." The vulnerability in his voice cracked something open in me. A part that had long been quiet, pushed aside in favor of what was practical, what was expected. "Is this okay?" he asked, barely above a whisper. I didn't answer with words. Instead, I reached out, gently placing my hand over his. The contact was simple, respectful, but full of unspoken emotion. He turned his palm upward, lacing his fingers with mine in the most natural, tender way. It wasn't bold. It wasn't loud. But it meant everything. We sat like that for the rest of the movie. No more confessions, no declarations. Just shared space, shared warmth, and a quiet understanding that whatever was happening between us, whatever had been slowly growing over time, was real. When the credits rolled, he didn't move away, and neither did I. The rain had stopped by then, leaving the world outside still and silent. He squeezed my hand gently. "Thank you. For tonight." I looked at him, my voice soft. "You don't have to thank me." He smiled, something deeper in his eyes now. "Still feels like I should." There was something beautiful in that moment. Something both innocent and complicated, filled with emotion that didn't need to be explained. We stayed in the quiet for a long time after that, hands still intertwined beneath the blanket, hearts slowly aligning under the hush of a now silent screen. And though no promises were made and no lines crossed, I knew that whatever this was, whatever it was becoming, it had already changed me.